5 things to know if you are new to entrepreneurship, or if you are running a startup, or if you are taking a chance on an idea that you have. The reason that we started the ADOT was so that we could impart knowledge as well as experience to others who are feeling some of the same things that we are feeling along the way. It's been a wonderful experience and a wonderful tool for us to share not only with the community around us, but the community of entrepreneurs who take the time to read, comment, ask questions, and connect with us personally afterwards. For myself, I think that the experience has been wonderful because, as a friend once told me, running a startup is the best education you can possibly get in business, and that stands to be true. I'm still learning every day, and I'm still grateful for the opportunity to continue to learn every day. The 5 pieces of advice that I have to share today are things that I've learned along the way. And the first of those is this: you have to get comfortable with saying no. And I don't mean saying no to customers. I don't mean saying no to your users or the people who will be using your product or your service. I mean saying no to people who are asking for your time and asking for your energy when it's not something that you feel passion for. When you start putting yourself out there and you start becoming the expert in something, anything really, people will start to ask you for your advice, for your help, for meetings, for your attendance, for your participation. And it could be in events, it could be in a project, it could be absolutely anything. Now, if you have a passion for what it is that you're being asked to take time for, then obviously, yeah, go ahead, tip your hat to that and take that chance. However, if you're like me and you tend to be a people pleaser and you say yes to pretty much any opportunity, you need to be cautious because all of that time that you're expending on something that you don't have passion for is now being thrown out the window. You are now not only expending your time and your energy, but you are also now taking time away from something you could be doing that you are passionate about. And I would rather live my life with a bunch of things that I'm passionate about than waste time trying to make people happy who will be dissatisfied with the end result because my heart won't be in it. So that's my number one key of advice, is learn to say no and get comfortable with it. My number two piece of advice is get yourself out there. You have to stow away any fear that you have when it comes to networking, shaking hands, meeting people, getting media attention, whether it be paper media, whether it be web media. You have to just get comfortable with being in front of people, being in front of a camera, being asked questions, being the one who is sought out. So that's something that you just have to really get comfortable with. That creates a contact list that is rich, and you have to just really be willing to get out there to events, whether they be your local chamber events, whether they be conferences that pertain to your sector, whether they be attending conferences that may not pertain to your sector but could potentially have great value because there are people there that you can learn from. You have to just take the time to get out there and really make the most out of all of that time, because again, you're expending your time and your energy, so it has to be worthwhile for you. My number 3 key piece of advice is that you want to ensure that you know your competitive advantage. I think if there's anything that I need to know more than anything else, it's what our competitive advantage is. So when it comes to your product or your service, how is it that you differentiate yourself within your sector? What is it that makes you different? What is it that puts you above the cut? And that doesn't mean tear down anybody else who's doing what you're doing or trying to do what you're doing or is doing it in pieces but not completely. It means get comfortable with answering the question, why should I choose you over anybody else? Why should I sign up with you? Why should I bother to give you my business? You want to make sure that you know those answers, and you have to be confident in responding to those answers. And there will be times where your confidence will shake. There will be times where you receive some negative feedback about your product or your services. And there will be times where you take things a little bit too personally because, let's face it, it's your baby, and it's really hard to not take that to heart. But the key is that you are confident in what you're doing. You have passion for what you're doing, you love what you're doing, and you have to remember that you have to sell that to everybody else. My number 4 key piece of advice is learn to tell your story. I don't care if it's a 2-minute demo, if it is a complete pitch when you're at an event and you've been invited to present your product. I don't care if you're pitching to investors. I don't care what the case is when you're networking, even. You need to get so comfortable with telling your story that it is just there as quickly as your elevator pitch is. You have to be so comfortable with it that you can tell a 1 minute version, a 10-minute version, and a 30-minute version. Some people want to know where you're coming from, why you exist, what it is that makes you different from everybody else. And I know that lends itself to the competitive advantage aspect, but to me, every time I've told our story, something good has come out of it. So I know hands down that our story is what sells our product oftentimes. And I know that sometimes that's what sways the pendulum from a no to a yes. So to me, it's been very key that I am extremely comfortable with the story and that I can tell it in a way that really expresses the passion and the love that I have for what it is that I get to sell every single day. My number 5 key piece of advice is you have to get comfortable with people not liking you. That's really hard for me. Not everybody you run into is going to be a fan of how you're doing things. Not everybody is going to agree with the road that you take, whether that be in terms of your business model, whether that be your product itself, whether that be how you choose to spend your dollars, how you choose to invest. So, not everybody's going to be a fan of everything that you do and every decision that you make. But at the end of the day, your gut will speak more volume than anything else. And there are going to be a lot of chirpers out there who are going to try to tell you how you need to do something. But the key is this: if you know what you're doing is getting you the results that match your vision, then to me, you're on the right path. It's not always going to be right. It's going to be bumpy and lumpy, and it's going to be a heck of a ride. But the beautiful thing is that this is your ride and nobody else's. Whatever it is that you're doing and whatever decisions it is that you're making, know that while they may be unpopular from time to time, that you have to have the gusto and the confidence and the knowledge to know that you're making the right decision for you and your company. So good luck. And if you have pieces of advice, feel free to leave them below in the comments. And also feel free to sign up for our blog so that you receive every post. Have a great day.